Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Hope you're doing great. This is Shubit sir. As our regular initiative, we are uploading online class in our Konabare Ideal High School Facebook group, and today we will complete a scene comprehension. Basically, today's lesson will cover up a model test preparation for the upcoming SSC batch 2021 and English first paper. In the unit of events and festivals, we will cover up a scene comprehension on May Day according to your textbook lessons. If you can open up the Meta section from your textbook. So first of all, we'll cover up the reading test. May Day or International Workers' Day is observed on May 1 all over the world today to commemorate the historical struggle and sacrifices of the working people to establish an 8-hour working day. May Day is considered an International Workers' Day because it has some historical past, and it actually describes the sacrifice of the working class people to establish their working schedule as an 8-hour work day. So it's a public holiday in almost all the countries of the world. So based on the historical significance of May Day, globally, it's been considered a public holiday. So, since the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries in Europe and the US, the workers in mills and factories had been working a long shift, 14 or even more hours a day. So, this paragraph has talked about the Industrial Revolution. It's actually the period, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries in Europe, when machines were invented and mills and factories were established, and we got tremendous benefits from the historical invention of the latest machineries that had been used to invent numerous elements in that Industrial Revolution period. So in that period, people or the workers in the factories had been working in a long shift for 14 or even more hours a day. So that was actually a huge working schedule, which was almost impossible to carry on. So on May 1st in 1886, we are talking about the end part of the 18th century. In that time, that was inspired by the trade unions. So trade unions is actually an organization that represents workers of mills and factories. Workers may have many different rights. They may claim from the organizations or the owners. So trade union actually protects the workers' rights. Probably they create these trade unions by themselves so that they can claim or they can portray any of their rights and other benefits that they think that they can achieve or they can retain from their workers' level. So what happened on the first day of May in 1886? There's a company named McCormick Harvesting Machine Company in Chicago in US, United States of America. So half of the workers in that factory suddenly went on strike, demanding an 8-hour workday. 2 days later, a workers' rally was held near the McCormick Harvester Machine Company, and about 6,000 workers joined it. So, a portion of the workers, a huge portion of the workers went on a strike for establishing an 8-hour workday. So it was probably a long demanding matters to the workers, because in that time the owners of the mills and factories were just thinking about that how to increase the productivity. So they were like using the workers, or they were insisting the workers to work for that long shift. So, and while they were making a rally, the workers from the other organizations who had been suffering from the same matter, they also worked in the rally. So this rally was getting bigger, and it was addressed by the labor leaders. So labor leaders are those who are actually leading, or who are probably the main spokesperson in favor of the workers. So they brings up the claims, or they brings up the demands from the workers and plays it up to the concerned authority. So they urge the workers to stand together. So it was a rally that actually created a great motivation to the workers to stand together, to go on with their struggle for establishing their 8 hours working day, and not to give in to their bosses. That means like they didn't want to be negotiated easily by their owners. So at one point of the rally, some strike breakers started leaving the meeting place. So the strikers went down the street to bring them back. So there was a haphazard situation, there was a messed up in that rally by the strike breakers. So suddenly about 200 policemen attacked them with clubs and revolvers. So when the rally went on a serious chaos during their strikes, so the policemen, those were surrounded and those were observing the strikers' situation. So because of this sudden mess up, policemen started attacking. So one striker was killed instantly. 5 or 6 others were seriously wounded or injured, and many others. So the events of May 1, 1886 are a reminder that workers will continue to be exploited until they stand up and speak out to gain better working conditions, better pay, and better lives. So the overall story behind the May Day is based on the event made on May 1st in 1886. So this May Day recalls that the unity of the workers, that this will be continuously exploited until the rights have been established, and they will continuously speaking out to get better working conditions, better pay, and the overall development of their lives. So based on the passage, here are some of the multiple choice question answers. So I've placed in the board. So the first one is, what does the word commemorate mean? So, commemorate means some things you can recall, you can remember. So here the best suitable, so the options are remind, remember, remain, retain. So in my perspective, remember is the right one. So the clubs and revolvers were used upon. In our passage, in the third passage, in line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In line number 9, you'll find that clubs and revolvers, policemen used clubs and revolvers. But the question asked, to whom, on whom they used, or clubs and revolvers were used upon whom? The strikers. So Number 3 will be the right answer. What is the synonym of inspire? So, inspire is a kind of motivation or a kind of effort that you can get that you're motivated to see by some other people. So it's actually inspire is a positive thing. So the choice answers are fight, struggle, motivate, strike. So number 3 again, motivate is a synonym of inspire. So a new movement for an 8-hour working day started in the 7th century, 18th century, 19th century, end of the 18th century. So May 1 in 1886. So that closely indicates that the answer will be that end of the 18th century. Many of you may make a mistake by writing it on the 18th century. Probably it happened on the 18th century, but you have another option has been given to your answer question. So that is end of the 18th century. So that is the closest meaning of closest answer of this question. So since it has happened on the 1886, end of the 18th century. So question number E. May Day signifies. Signifies means what actually May Day explores, or what actually May Day describes, what actually May Day portrays. So the answer choice questions are: number 1 is the rise of the working class people, inspiration of hard working people, and number 3 is the deprived people's story. So we can get the lesson from we can get the answer from the passage that May Day or International Workers' Day. So in this passage, May Day talked about the significant event on how working class people establish their rights, especially for an 8-hour working schedule. So the number 1, the rights of working class people is the right answer. So, inspiration of hard-working people. If you write it, it could be wrong because it's not an inspiration. It's actually, it was a movement to establish workers' right. So this is the part video. So in the next part, we'll solve a few of the short questions from this passage.